Greetings and welcome to Match Play today. I'm at the beautiful Legacy Golf Resort here in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, not a cloud in the sky, beautiful temperature. And we are just excited about baseball season. We're excited about golf. I had a teacher the other day tell me that golf is just a baseball swing on a different plane. And I'm with Russ Ortiz today, baseball great from several years ago. He's now been retired a few years. Russ, welcome to Match Play.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
Thanks for being with me today. This is a great place. Look at this.
Yeah, this place is beautiful. I love coming to play here.
Russ, you and the family live in Mesa, Arizona now, but that's not where you're from. You started out in California, where you grew up. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I grew up in Southern California in Van Nuys, the San Fernando Valley, with my brother, who's 10 and a half months older than I am, and so we're really close in age. And we actually lived with our grandparents growing up. Mom got divorced really early. Our dad stopped coming around, so it was just her. She worked for the LAPD in downtown Los Angeles, and so we ended up living with our grandparents because there was an elementary school and a junior high right down the road, and so it made it easier for us. And so that's how we grew up. My brother and I played baseball all the time.
Did you?
Yeah.
So did you go through the system where you played Little League and all of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, we played when we turned 5 and we could play organized sports. You know, we did that, and so we played t-ball. We always played on the same team up until I think we were about 13, 14, and then he aged out because he was always a year older than me. But but as soon as we could start playing, we played t-ball and then moved up to kid pitch and then official Little League and pony baseball and from there.
And then, of course, you were on the high school team in Van Nuys, California.
Right.
One of your teammates was a guy by the name of Brad Fulmer.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a few minutes, don't worry. Tell me, though, when did you know, and those around you tell you, that you had crossed a line from just being a kid growing up playing ball to a young man who really had what it took to go all the way to the bigs? When did you know that?
It's funny you ask that because I've been asked that before, and I actually do have a specific time. It was in the fall when I was 13. The Pony League, the Encino Pony League is where I played pony baseball, and they had a fall league. And I remember that year, all of a sudden, I'm hitting a bunch of home runs, and I'm pitching, and I'm getting everybody out. And that was a moment for me where I thought, man, you know, I am actually pretty good, because prior to that, I played Little League, I played pony baseball. I was nowhere near the best player on the team. I made the all-star teams. I didn't always start on the all-star teams and all that stuff. So there was always like, yeah, I'm pretty good, but there's a lot of guys better than me.
What a great lesson for life, Russ. What a great lesson for life, because you can take that concept in anything that anybody is doing out there in their career, anything, and you can extrapolate that. You can move that forward and use that concept that, hey, I may not be the best today.
Right.
There's other people better than me, but you ended up going to the big leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely what you would consider a late bloomer as far as, you know, if you were to say, you know, a star as a youth and all that. I was definitely a late bloomer that way. And that was okay, because I was just continue to learn and learn and learn and practice and practice and practice. And that was the thing that got me better, was just continue to practice every single thing, whether it was conditioning, arm strength, fielding balls, hitting, all that stuff. It was just constant work. And that's what I tell kids all the time, is that just throw a ball against a wall and field it. Whatever it is you can do, you know, all the time to just keep working, just do that.
Were you studying baseball as well? The history of the game, the equipment of the game, were you studying all of that part of it? Or were you basically at that point just focused on, you know, body conditioning, baseball motion, playing the game, and getting better at what you did, you know, as far as the methodics of the game?
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, I loved watching baseball probably more than I do now. I think just because it was something that I didn't know if I could ever even achieve, to do something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was so far out of the realm of possibility for me, but that was a dream of mine. So I was just locked in.
Yeah.
But I think learning more about the history of the game came from collecting baseball cards. My brother and I collected baseball cards, and so when you start collecting baseball cards and you start hearing about the old baseball cards, and the ones that are most valuable, and the ones that are precious, to everybody, then you start to learn names of history and things like that, because they didn't have the types of shows when I was growing up like they do now about baseball history and stuff like that. So it really started when we started collecting baseball cards and started hearing these names of these players, from long ago, and why they're so popular, and then you just kind of become intrigued.
On to Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma, and you were a standout pitcher. That by that time, I think a lot of people were looking at Russ Ortiz, because you ended up leading them to the College World Series, where you were victorious, and then from there, it was the big leads. Transition me from winning the College World Series at University of Oklahoma to then getting drafted and going with the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, well, funny thing is, I had a great pitching coach, great coaches in high school, but my pitching coach was a college coach before he got to our high school. He coached against the coaches that were at Oklahoma when I was there. So I got to Oklahoma based off of his recommendation. They never saw me pitch live. It was basically off of his recommendation, and they trusted him, which I think is a cool story, just to see how friendship and trust, plays into recommendations, for players. And so that's how I got to Oklahoma. So once I was there, my whole thing was just to win a national championship and then eventually get drafted. And so I tell people all the time, even my kids, I tell them, like, look, I sacrifice time of hanging out with friends and doing things normal college kids do or whatever, because I had one track mind, which was that. And so in my sophomore year in 1994, when we won the national championship, that was the time where I felt like, hey, I might have something here, because
did you know you were going to be able to go to the bigs at that point? You were going to get drafted at that point?
So after 94, we won the World Series. I went to the Cape Cod for Summer League, and I did well. That was probably the time where I felt like I have a real shot here, because
you were in Cape Cod.
The next season, I was supposed to be the number 2 starter, and I was the number 2 starter. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't think I ever got an explanation, but at some point they just stopped pitching me. I didn't stress out for games. I sat in the stands for games. I didn't travel with the team. I just didn't play. I just threw bullpens every other day. Our pitching coach was Vern Rule. He was a longtime major leaguer, and so at the end of the day, I have no idea, but once they felt like I'd pitch again, I came in as a closer, and I did really, really well, and that's how I got drafted.
When we come back, Russ Ortiz is going to tell us about Game 6 in the 2002 World Series against the Anaheim Angels, and we're going to come back to his friend, Brad Fulmer. Stay with me on Match Play.
We'll be back with more Match Play right after these messages.
Being able to, tee it up and look down at your square toes and see exactly where you're lined up. It's not only great on the range, but really nice on the course. Being able to have an extra tool is great on the tee box. With the square-toed front, not only is it great for my alignment, but I just have a lot of room, and I just feel really comfortable. Think of these shoes more as equipment as opposed to apparel.
Do you like Tour Edge?
I love Tour Edge. This is seriously high tech.
And they're long, right, Duff?
Built in the USA? Oh, I love that. I need forgiveness.
Did I mention these puppies are long, really long?
You know why I love Tour Edge? It's because I win with it. Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Here's a great golf solution called Grip Drive. It's simple and easy to use, saving you money and keeping your grips in great condition. For chip shots into the green, snap it on your putter to keep that grip dry. Grip Drive fits in the back pocket for easy access. Use our powerful magnet to snap onto your golf cart so it's easy to take to the green. Grip Drive provides a convenient ball marker that is always with you. When your grips are dry and in great shape, you'll simply play better.
The Sights and Sounds of Golf, brought to you by Mother Nature and the members of the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America.
Mother Nature provides the canvas. We help to make it a work of art. Brought to you by the members of the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America.
And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
Welcome back to Match Play with Russ Ortiz. Russ, in the 2002 World Series against the Anaheim Angels, the Giants and the Angels were up and down. You won a game, they won a game. Ended up in Game 6, you were 3-2 and ready to win the World Series. I believe you had a 5-run lead.
Right.
At the bottom of the 6th, you went back in for the 7th inning, and a couple of singles were hit off of you. One of them, the second one, ultimately brought Dusty Baker out to take you out of the game, and it was hit by your friend and teammate from high school, Brad Fulmer. Tell me about that moment.
Yeah, well, first, I pitched game 2, and myself and Kevin Apier, who also pitched, we only pitched 2 innings. We both did terrible.
Yeah, but that wasn't pretty.
So this was a redeeming moment, and so when I look back at game 2, it was just executing pitches. The pitches were just a little more of a play, etc. And so game 6, my whole focus was same game plan, just execute. And got to the 7th inning, we're up 5-0. I didn't, hear any noise going on, stuff like that. And until I went 3-0 to Garrett Anderson in the top of the 7th, and then he bailed me out and he hit a ground ball, which I think it would have been ball 4 actually. So Troy Gloss is up. If anybody knows Troy, he's big, strong guy, great hitter, and he hits a single over shortstop. And then up comes Brad Fulmer.
And it was kind of a weak single, right?
For him, yeah.
Right.
I mean, for as hard as he hits the ball, as big as strong as he is, for him it was just a weak, basic single. Nothing special. So no big deal. Whatever. He's not fast on the base pass, and so great opportunity to get a double play.
So here comes Brad.
So here comes Brad. So a little bit of me actually thought, like, man, how great is this that, he and I, we've known each other since he was in 7th grade and I was in 8th grade. We played JV football together. We played, high school baseball together and all that stuff. And now we're in this situation where...
Now, he'd already batted against you earlier in the game. Yeah. And you had you had control of these Angels. I mean, you had them pretty well shut down.
Yeah. And
you had control of this ball game and those batters. What happened in that exchange in that moment?
So the whole plan was to get a ground ball, double play. If anybody knows Brad, extremely good hitter. That's one thing that he always did well is hit. So I knew, like, okay, well, if I make my pitches, good chance I can get a ground ball.
Yeah.
But just stay away from the big hit. And so, because he had a lot of power as well. So that was my whole focus, and just missing. And so I finally throw a pitch away that stayed a little up, and he hit a hard, I can't remember if it was a one hop out of infield or just like a line drive, but it was just in between first and second. But he hit it hard, but again, it's a single. So, but still in my mind, I knew I made a little mistake. I got a little up, but in my mind, I'm still thinking, great, Spezio's up, righty on lefty, great opportunity to get another ground ball and get out of it. We're up 5 runs. And so that was my mindset at that point.
When Dusty Baker came walking out on the field to the mound, what were you thinking? I mean, what was going on at that moment?
I know he said, great job, everybody, and everybody that was on the mound. There was the whole infield, the catcher stuff, and they, it was a great job and all that stuff. And I started to walk off, and he stopped me, and he says, "Hey, I want you to have this." He just gave me a memento from the World Series that I pitched him because.
Well, it was that game ball. It was the one you were pitching with, right?
But he was just like, "Hey, this is for you. I want you to have this."
Well, of course, the Angels went on to beat you Giants, and they win that World Series. When we come back with Russ Ortiz, we're going to find out what happened to that ball, where it is today. Stay with me. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Match Play right after these messages.
Do you like Tour Edge?
I love Tour Edge. This is seriously high tech.
And they're long, right, Duff?
Built in the USA? Oh, I love that. I need forgiveness.
Did I mention these puppies are long, really long?
You know why I love Tour Edge? It's because I win with it. Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Introducing the Putting Stroke Teacher Training Aid.
The putting stroke teacher helps the better player, the PGA Tour player, the pro that wants to get out on tour, because the first thing it's going to do is get these forearms lined up square and your shoulders lined up square. And that's the thing my dad and I worked on when I led the tour in putting, and it's the thing I'm constantly checking today to make sure that those are lined up. And that's going to really affect the path that the putter head swings on. Very easy to set up. You just take two pieces, stick them together, put it on the end of your putter, two little Velcro straps, and boom, you're in and you're ready to go. It's not big, it's very tiny. You can take it apart and stick it in your golf bag. Get the Putting Stroke Teacher and make more putts.
Order the Putting Stroke Teacher today.
Being able to tee it up and look down at your square toes and see exactly where you're lined up. It's not only great on the range, but really nice on the course. Being able to have an extra tool is great on the tee box. With this square-toed front, not only is it great for my alignment, but I just have a lot of room, and I just feel really comfortable. Think of these shoes more as equipment as opposed to apparel.
And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
All right, thanks for joining me again on Match Play, and I'm with Russ Ortiz, Major League Baseball pitcher, now retired. Played for a lot of different teams, but we've got to quickly sew something up. Speaking of 108 stitches on a baseball, let's sew this up. Where is that baseball? You said you tucked it away in your bag. What happened to it after that?
So after everything's over, real quick, I'll share. When we got back to San Francisco, Dusty called me in his office because he was getting a bunch of flack for all that.
Right.
Obviously, he called me out his office and
you mean for giving you the ball?
For giving me the ball, yeah.
Right.
And on the mound there,
right in front of the world
with the pitching exchange. And so he called me in his office and he just said, "Hey, I've been getting all kinds of questions and second guessing all that stuff." He's like, "I just wanted you to know, you may never get to another World Series. You may never be in that moment. I just wanted you to have, that."
Sure.
And I was like, I never took it as anything other than you wanted me to have it.
Right.
And that was it. So
you had it.
Yeah. So we had a little moment there, and it's just like, okay, it was done. And so to me, because the Dusty, I respect him so much. I love that guy, and so I was like, I want to make sure that I hold on to this. And so getting home, I made sure got a clear baseball holder. And I just kind of, at first, stuffed it just behind, with all the other baseballs I have, and I knew where it was at, but just so it wasn't just out there,
Where is it today?
So today, it's in the office. I have the shelving where I just have a bunch of signed baseballs and bobbleheads and memorabilia and stuff like that. And so it's just mixed in there, and it's just a nice keepsake that I have, that's a special moment.
Help us, another life lesson here. How sick to your stomach, or how did it affect you when, with a 5-0 lead, you thought you were likely going to win a World Series that day, and Dusty surely thought that.
Right, I think everybody did, yeah.
How did that affect you? How sick were you on the way home?
I think I was more in shock. After the game, talking to the media and stuff, is just complete shock of, I can't believe that happened. Like that, I don't think any time during that year that happened. I mean, we had one of the, or if not the best, 7, 8, 9 guys,
Right.
you know, in the National League for sure, if not the game. So I had complete confidence, and it was one of those things where it just complete shock. And so it wasn't until I think a couple years down the line when I got traded to Atlanta, and obviously at that time Atlanta was very good. We went to the playoffs both times.
Yeah.
So after that second time with Atlanta, I think that's when I realized, oh man, like we're this close.
I
like,
had a World Series.
And it's like, oh, it's like then. So I think it didn't really sink in until then until I realized how close, because once I got traded to Atlanta, I said, great, here's another shot, you know, to be able to get to the World Series. And when it didn't happen those 2 years, then I was just like, wow. So that was kind of like a gut punch, like, man, we were so close. And just start to think about the what ifs. You know, I'm not a what if guy, but that was one of the times maybe in my life I started thinking, like, what if we did win? Like, how would things be different? You know, and so so that was probably the gut punch moment there.
Okay, so tell me about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Here we are in beautiful Phoenix. You live in Phoenix, Arizona, after a lot of travel with a lot of different baseball teams. Tell me about the Diamondbacks. $33 million contract over 4 years. You injured a rib. You were not able to play, and you tried to come back. It didn't work out. They release you and pay out $22 million, I'm told, about. I think I'm close. And you went on to play for the Orioles. Were you surprised they released you over that?
I was a little surprised, yes, just because of, you know, the kind of contract it was and stuff like that, and my history, because up until that point, I had never missed a start. You know, I think
you were never injured.
No, I was never injured, and I never missed a start, never missed a day.
How'd you hurt your rib?
No, I don't know.
You just woke up one day and it was sore.
Well, it actually hurt up front, but the actual fracture was in the back.
And don't know how you did it.
Don't know how I did it. I told the team, I said, it hurts right here. You know, once I get to this point going forward, I said, it stings, you know. So they were thinking maybe an intercostal strain, something like that. So we just kept an eye on it. And so this was after April. April came out. I think, you know, we won 4 out of my first 5 starts with the Diamondbacks. So I'm excited about this. And then get into May, and all of a sudden my side starts hurting. And I could barely play catch. But when I got some adrenaline going, I didn't feel it.
Were you glad to be in Phoenix and play for the Diamondbacks?
Yeah, this was so unexpected, I would say. But if anybody knows, back in 2005, the type of team that they were trying to put together, it made sense, you know, because they're veteran guys that were winners and have had experience in the playoffs and stuff like that. So we actually put together a good team. Unfortunately, myself and other guys got hurt and everything, and it's just one of those years to where it just didn't work out. But I mean, you know, with my rib, nobody knew what to do. None of the doctors, none of the trainers, nobody knew what to do. And they're just like, we've never seen this. We don't know really exactly what to do. So let's just do this. All right, well, let's just do this.
As you continue on you retire, and now you have a company called Second Guy Golf. And I understand that the profits from that company go to a charitable organization that helps the community. So tell me about starting Second Guy Golf. What is Second Guy Golf, and how does that work helping the local community right here in Phoenix?
Well, baseball is always my passion, my whole life, since I was 5 years old. So once that stopped, I wanted to do something when I was retired, because I retired at 35. So I had, you know, hopefully a long life to go, and want to do something that I was passionate about. Well, because of Major League Baseball, I became really passionate about golf, became really passionate about helping in the community and giving back. And so once I retired, I put those two things together and created Second Guy Golf, and which turned into Second Guy Golf and Second Girl Golf, which now is 2GG Apparel.
And what apparel do you have?
So we have men's and women's apparel, pretty much top to bottom, except, you know, socks and shoes. And so, you know, hats, polos, shorts, skirts for women, pants for both men and women, jackets, pullovers, all that stuff. And so, but it's all performance-based gear, all, you know, with all the, you know, high-quality fabrics and stuff and everything. But because our focus is giving back, we give 100% of our proceeds to charity.
Okay, so let's say somebody buys this very nice-looking golf polo shirt, and it's whatever the price point it is. You've got the profit margin built into that.
Correct.
That profit is then taken out and it's given to a charitable foundation?
Correct, yeah.
So what is that foundation?
So over the 7 years, we've had many different places we've given to. A lot of them have been to junior programs, junior golf programs. And so right now, last year this started, we've been specifically pointed at the First Tee of Phoenix. Develop a great relationship with Kevin Terry, who's the director there, and his staff. And so all of that goes to the First Tee of Phoenix to help scholarship families that can't afford to be a part of the program. It's $100 to be a part of the program a year. I remember growing up, we played one sport because we can only afford one sport. So I know personally that $100 can be a stretch for a lot of families. And so that's where we wanted our proceeds to go. So every polo, if we sell about 10, 15 polos, that will help pay for one child to be a part of their great program. So we've been able to do a real great thing, here, and the people that have worked for me have the same, mission in mind, and so it's been a really cool thing to be able to take a passion for golf and for giving back, and be able to give back and make an impact on other people just from selling golf apparel. Even though it's really good golf apparel, we're really proud of it. Our mission is the thing that really drives us.
Russ, so 2GG Golf has a store, I understand. Right. Where's your store? And tell me, how do they find it? And what about your website?
Yeah, our store is in Mesa. It's on, Wrecker and McKellips in North Mesa. And so it's a little store, has all of our items there. You can go there, try it on, touch it, feel it, all that stuff. And
Russ Ortiz memorabilia on the walls?
No. No, it's just all golf stuff. But it's a little store there in North Mesa, and so
good.
Then go to our website. It's 2ggapparel.com.
2ggapparel.com.
Yeah.
Russ, thank you so much for being with me today on Match Play. We've learned a lot from you about your life growing up, baseball, and carrying that over into life's learning for other things. Thanks for all you do for the community as well. Russ Ortiz on Match Play TV today.
There is a place where reality exceeds your dreams, where time is not measured in days, hours, or minutes, but in smiles, new experiences, and new friends. A place where happiness is not a feeling, it's a way of life. Here, you're not just a visitor, you're family. There are many languages in the world, and our smile speaks them all.